Hello guys, welcome po sa ating YouTube channel AdMaths Plus Maths. Ang gagawin po natin ngayon ay ang pinakaunang lesson sa General Mathematics, which is representations of functions. Okay? So, representations of functions usually ay isa sa misunderstood na lesson. So, I will be discussing also some of the misconceptions about functions later on. Ano po ba ang kailangan nating malaman dito sa lesson na ito? Ito po ang kailangan makuha ng isang estudyante. If you are a student, if you are a teacher, these are the things that your students needs to have. Define functions and related terms. Determine if the given relation represents a function. Define piecewise function and represents real-life situations using functions, including piecewise functions. You will know all these terms later on. Okay, let's move on. What is a relation? Okay. Relation most of the time is a set of ordered pairs, and the domain of a relation is the set of the first coordinate. The range is the set of second coordinate. So ano bang ibig sabihin nito? Nung nag-aaral tayo sa junior high school, tinuturuan tayo ng sinusubukan tayong turuan ng teacher natin na mayroon tayong ordered pair. Kapag sinabi nating ordered pair, mayroon siyang parenthesis. Tapos, ang unang isusulat mo ay value ng x. Tapos, comma. Inside that parenthesis, then the y. Okay? So, ano bang ibig sabihin nun? Yung unang sinulat mo, yun ang sinasabing domain. Yung pangalawang sinulat mo, which is a value of a range, the value of the y, is what you call range. Domain are always inputs. Ano ibig sabihin ng input? Siya yung ilalagay mo sa isang equation, okay, para magkaroon ka ng output. Okay? So, let's discuss examples of relation. Relation, example 1 is related to 4, 2 is related to 5, 3 is related to 6, 4 is related to 8. Napakasimple po, di ba? Relation means there's a relationship between numbers. And it's not only numbers. Okay? Sometimes it can be variables, sometimes it can be real objects. Okay? Number 2, 4 related siya kay 2. 4 related siya kay negative 2. So, ibig sabihin, yung 4, related na siya kay 2, related pa siya kay negative 2. Yung 9, related siya kay 3. Yung 9, related again sa 3. Or it can be negative 3. By the way, naulit lang po yung ordered pair dito. Next, number 3, yung 1, related siya kay A, kay B, at saka kay C, at saka kay D. Okay? So, as long as there is a relationship between numbers, variables, real life objects, there is a relation. For example, the relationship between a mother and her children is a relation. And the relationship of a son to his mother is a relation. Okay, so that is a relation. But not all relation are functions. So what is a function? A function is a relation. So it's a relation in which each element of the domain corresponds to exactly one element of the range. So hindi pwedeng maging salawahan yung domain natin. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng domain ulit? Ito yung values of x. Ito yung mga inputs Okay? All possible values of x. Range is the output, all possible values of y. Okay? Kapag sinusulat nyo yung ordered pair, x, y. Okay? Next. Example for functions. You see, sabi ko kanina, wala dapat mauulit na value of x. Dapat isa-isa lang yung values of x mo. Okay? Makikita nyo po sa example number 1, ang mga x natin ay 1, 2, 3, and 4. May naulit bang value of x? Wala. Hindi na-relate sa dalawang value of y yung value natin ng x. Okay. Let's have another example. Mapapansin ninyo, may naulit ba na value of x? Wala. So, is it still a function? Yes. Kahit na ba Sir Mars naulit yung values ng y? Yes. Basta wala dapat mauulit na value of x. Kasi ang sabi dun sa definition, okay? A function is a relation in which each element of the domain, yung x, corresponds to exactly one element of the range. So, ibig sabihin, si 2 kay 1 lang. Hindi na pwedeng i-relate si 2 sa iba pang numbers. Si 3 kay 1 lang. Hindi na pwedeng i-relate si 3 sa iba pang numbers. Si 4, hindi na rin. Kay 1 lang. Si 5, kay 1 lang din. Okay? So, this is basically the idea of a function. Pero, balik tayo dun sa previous slide. Makapansin ninyo, si 4 related kay 2 at related kay negative 2. Is this a function? No, it's not a function. It's just a mere relation. When we say mere relation, relation lang siya. Hindi siya function. Okay? Next. Let's move on to some examples. Determine if the following relation represents a function. Number 1, may naulit ba na value of x? Wala. So it's a function. Number 2, may naulit ba na value of x? Wala. So it's a function. Number 3, may naulit ba na value of x? Yes. 4 na beses pa nga. So, is it a function? No, it's just a mere relation. Okay? Number 4, meron bang naulit na value of x? Wala. So, it's a function. Okay? Next. Some types of functions. So, bibigyan ko kayo ng mga types of functions. There's a lot of functions. Ang dami-dami nating pag-aaralan about function dito sa General Mathematics. Pero, yung mga basic muna ang pag-aaralan natin ngayon. Linear function. Noong junior high school tayo, pinag-aralan na natin ang linear equation. And linear equation usually is denoted by y equals mx plus b. Okay? Pero dito, hindi mo isusulat as y equals mx plus b. Okay? Yung y mo magiging f of x. By the way, y is equivalent to f of x. Because f of x is your range. Ito yung output mo, output. Where m and b are real numbers and m and f of x are not both equal to 0. Hindi dapat maging 0 si m, hindi dapat maging 0 si b. Para matawag mo siyang linear function. Pansinin nyo rin guys na ang linear function, yung x walang exponent. So kapag ka may exponent na yan, hindi na yan linear function. Okay? Next is quadratic function. Ano ang quadratic function? Quadratic function is any equation of the form f of x is equal to ax squared. So mapapansin nyo, yung x natin meron ng exponent. And ano yung exponent dapat niya para maging quadratic function siya? Square. Okay? 2. Mayroon dapat siyang exponent na 2. Okay? Sir, pwede bang mawala itong x na ito? Pwede. Quadratic function pa rin siya. Okay? So, dapat daw, A, B, and C are real numbers and A cannot be equal to 0. So yung B natin pwedeng maging 0, yung C natin pwedeng maging 0, pero yung A hindi pwedeng maging 0. Bakit? Kasi kapag ka naging 0 na yung A, hindi na siya quadratic function. Ano na siya? Linear function na siya. Okay? Babalik siya. Bakit? Kasi etong A na to, A, pag naging 0 yan, 0 times x squared is 0. So magiging bx plus c na lang siya, which is almost the same as mx plus b. Okay? Yung b mo magiging m, yung c mo magiging b. So this is a quadratic function. Kailangan hindi 0 yung katabi ng x squared. Okay? When you say katabi, in English, you say numerical coefficient. Okay? Next. Another type is constant function. So what is a constant function? From the word constant, okay, it's just a number. Okay? An f of x or a function is only equal to a number. Okay, yung b na yan, it represents a number. It says here, a linear function f is a constant function. So, a constant function is a linear function, by the way, that which is, okay, or where m is equal to 0. So, 0 po yung m. So, 0 times x is, of course, 0. 0 plus b is equal to b. So, ibig sabihin, a constant function is only a function that is equal to any number. Okay? Usually, ang graph po ng constant function is a horizontal line. Okay? It's always a horizontal line. Next. Let's move on to another type, identity function. Identity function is where the function is equivalent to x. So for example, identity function is where m is equal to 1 and b is equal to 0. So kapag yung m mo ay 1, 1 times x is x, at yung b mo is 0, x plus 0 magiging x na lang siya. Okay? So that is an identity function. It's very important to take note that when we say identity function, whatever you put there will still be the value, okay, of the function. Okay, kung ano yung ilalagay ko dito sa loob ng parenthesis. Halimbawa, f of x plus 1 to is equal to x plus 1. Identity function po yun. Okay, next. Another type of function is what you call absolute value function. Ang absolute value po, kahit na maglagay ako ng negative dun sa loob, magiging positive pa rin siya. Kahit na maglagay ako ng positive dun sa loob ng function, magiging positive pa rin siya. Ayun po ang effect ng absolute value. So the absolute value is for all real numbers x. Okay? Even if a function is equal to negative x for x is greater than 0 and negative x for x is less than 0. Okay? Piecewise function. What is a piecewise function? Piecewise function is called also as compound function. It is a function defined by multiple sub-functions. So, pwede kang magkaroon ng dalawang function sa isang function lang. Kaya siya tinawag na piecewise kasi piece by piece. Okay? It is defined by multiple sub-functions where each sub-function applies to a certain interval of the main function's domain. Okay? So this is a piecewise function. You will know later on what is a piecewise function and how does a piecewise function's graph looks like. Okay? Okay. Punta po tayo sa example para po mas lalo nating maintindihan yung lesson natin. Okay? Kasi pag wala tayong example, hindi rin natin ma-apply kung ano yung na-tackle natin. Okay? To sell more t-shirts, the class needs to charge a lower price as indicated in the following. So meron po tayong table. The price for which you can sell X printed t-shirts is called the price function. Hahanapin po natin yung price function na yan. P of X represents each data point in the table. Okay? So, if ever may dumugtong pa dito, halimbawa, mapapansin nyo, 500 naging 900, nadagdagan ng 400, right? Tapos nadagdagan ulit ng 400, nadagdagan ng 400, nadagdagan ng 400, nadagdagan ng 400. Kapag naging 2,900 ba yan, magkano kaya ang lalabas dito? Ano yung magre-represent doon sa kalalabasan? Okay? What is that function? Okay. Now, let's study first the table before I go to the next slide. Nagdagdag ng 400 number of shirt sales. Pero tingnan nyo yung price per t-shirt. Okay? Kapag nagdagdag siya ng 400, magbabawas siya dun sa presyo ng per t-shirt ng ilan yung babawas niya? 80 pesos per shirt. Ganun din sa pangatlo, nagbawas na naman siya ng 80. Nagbabawas siya ng constant number. Kapag ang changes mo ay constant, okay, rate of change is constant, you always refer it to a line because it's a constant thing. Okay? So, what do we mean by that? Kung inire-refer lang natin sa line, okay, bibigyan ka ng idea na dapat ang function mo ay linear function. Okay? So, let's move on to the solution. So, since sabi ko kanina, linear function siya, it is represented by f of x is equal to mx plus b. Yung dinidiscuss ko kanina, di ba? So, since f of x is equal to mx plus b, kailangan mong hanapin yung slope. So, that is the first step. Find the slope of the line. How to find the slope of a line? Nung junior high school tayo, tinuruan tayo ng slope of a line is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So, this is how you look for slope. Sir, saan ko kukunin yung y? Saan ko kukunin yung x? Ayan, mapapansin ninyo, mayroon etong unang part ng table is your values of x. These are your inputs. Etong pangalawa are your outputs. Okay? Ito ang mga x value. Kumuha ka ng dalawa. Huwag mo nang pahirapan yung sarili mo. Kunin mo na yung dalawang una. At kumuha ka rin ng dalawang una dun sa kabila. Sa y. Okay? So, hindi pwedeng pinili ko si 500. Ang pipiliin ko pinili ko si 500 as x sub 1, ang pipiliin ko na y sub 1 is 380, hindi pwede yun. Kung pinili mo si 500, ang y sub 1 mo dapat ay 540. Okay? So, pinili ko na yung dalawa. So, substitute ko lang yung formula. I'll get 460 minus 540 over 900 minus 500. Okay? I hope I made myself clear. So, pag kinompute mo yan, gradient mo or slope of a line is equivalent to negative 1 over 5. Okay? Ang step number 2 mo, gagamitin mo yung tinatawag nating point-slope form of a linear equation. This is a formula na ginagamit to find out yung equation of a line. Okay? To find out the equation of a line, kapag ang given ay meron kang point at meron kang slope. Dapat meron kang point at meron kang slope. So kapag wala kang point at wala kang slope, isa sa kanila ang wala, hindi mo pwedeng gamitin itong formula na ito. Okay? Yung mga hindi nakakatanda ng formula na ito, please take note of this formula. This is only applicable kapag mayroon kang point at mayroon kang slope. Ano yon? Ano yung point na gagamitin mo? Kahit saan dito sa mga ito, ang gamitin mo, it will give you the same answer. Okay? So I can use 500 and 540. I can use 900 and 460. Okay? When we say point, okay, it's any of those points. Basta dapat pair siya, x sub 1 and y sub 1. So x and y, dapat pair. Okay? Now, what is our m? Negative 1 over 5. So, etong m mo magiging negative 1 over 5. Etong y sub 1 mo, since pinili ko 500 at 540, etong y sub 1 ko magiging 540, yung x sub 1 ko magiging 500. Okay? So, sasubstitute ko lang yan. Okay? I'll get this. Okay? After getting that, of course, I need to expand this part. Negative 1 over 5 times x is negative 1 over 5x. Negative 1 over 5 times negative 500 is 100. Okay? I'll get this. By the way, 1 over 5 is 0.2. So, pwede mo nang palitan yan ng 0.2. Okay? And then, you add both sides by 540, you will get this one. Y is equal now to 1 over 5x plus 640. So, yan. Etong negative 540, dun sa mga ibang teachers, ina-explain nila ito. Transpose negative 540 to the right side. Hindi po dapat ganun ang pag-explain. Dapat po, you have to add both sides by 540. Wala po tayong properties of equality na nagsasabing transposition property of equality. Wala pong ganun. Okay, meron lang po tayong addition property of equality. So what you need to do to remove negative 540 is you add both sides by 540. Okay? Next. So you will get now 640 minus 0.2x. Oh, where did I get 0.2? 1 over 5 is 0.2 basically. Okay, so that's your answer. Okay, I hope I made myself clear. Let's go to another example. Find the dimensions of the largest rectangular garden that can be enclosed by 60 meter of fencing. So, ibig sabihin, 60 meter daw yung fence mo. Okay? Ang problema dito, hindi mo alam yung dimensions ng rectangular garden. When we say dimension, okay, ito po ang kailangan nyo maintindihan sa dimension. There are different kinds of dimension. There are two-dimensional objects. There are three-dimensional objects. Pero kapag ka-rectangle po ang pinag-usapan natin, ang dimension po ng rectangles are base and height or length and width. Okay? Base and height po sa parallelogram yon, sorry. Pero ang dimension po ng rectangular objects or rectangular shapes, length at saka width. So, ang hahanapin mo dito, length at saka width. Okay? So, paano yun hahanapin? Solution is, ang una mong gagawin, let x and y denote the lengths of the side of the garden. Basically, lengths means the length and the width. Okay? The area will become x times y. Kasi, di ba sabi mo, dinenote mo na siya as x and y. So, yung area mo, i-multiply mo lang yung x and y. Okay? To recall, area of a rectangle is length times width. Since length mo ay x, width mo ay y, so x times y. Okay? Step number 2, express A in terms of a single variable, either x or y. So, ibig sabihin, dapat mayroon kang, alam mo yung value ng y. And, to give you a clue, okay, kapag ka dinagdag ko yung dalawang length, okay, remember, a rectangle will have two lengths. Length sa taas, length sa baba. So, 2 length. Tapos, dalawa rin ang width niya. Okay? Kapag dinagdag mo lahat yon, dalawang length, dalawang width, okay? Pag dinagdag mo lahat-lahat yon, magiging 60 meters. Paano ko nasabi? Kasi, yung fencing daw ay 60 meters. Okay? Yung fencing ng rectangular garden. So, yon po ang mga idea natin. And that is what we call perimeter. Yung 60 meters na yan, perimeter siya. Okay? So, basically, it's just 2x plus 2y is equal to 60. So, yun po yung sinasabi ko. Next. And x plus y is equal to 30. Paano naging ganon? Dinivide ko the whole equation by 2. Okay? 2x divided by 2, x. 2y divided by 2, y. 60 divided by 2 is 30. Sinimplify ko lang yung equation. Okay? Next. So, y now is equal to 30 minus x. Okay. Anong ginawa dito? In-isolate ko ang isang variable. Bakit? Bakit kailangan i-isolate? Kasi sabi sa step number 2, express a in terms of a single variable. Okay. Hindi pwedeng dalawang variable ang ilalagay mo sa a. Kasi ang sabi niya, a is equal to x times y. E di dalawang variable yan. So, express mo lang siya as a single variable. So, palitan mo yung isang variable dito nung pwedeng ipalit ko dun. For example, here, so y is equal to 30 minus x. So, yung y dito, pwede ko nang palitan ng 30 minus x. Okay, yan. Napalitan ko na yung y ng 30 minus x. Next, since ito na yung equation ko for area, area now is equal to 30x minus x squared. So this is now my equation for A. Ang problema ko ngayon, Mr. Mars, ano na yung length, ano na yung width? Okay. Kailangan mong marunong kang mag-graph ng quadratic function. Okay? Pwede namang ang gawin mo is palitan mo ng negative 1 or negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. Okay? Then, i-graph mo yung formula. Pero, usually, I will just discuss this by putting in the graph. Okay? One thing that you can do also is write this equation in the vertex form by completing the square. Kasi, kapag kinumplete mo yung square, pag kinumplete po natin ang square dito, okay, you can get what kind of parabola is the quadratic equation, quadratic function. Does it open upward or does it open downward? Okay? So, since you can already get that, okay, by the way, a is equal now to negative x squared minus 30x plus 225. Saan ko nakuha yung 225? Okay. Remember kanina, ang value natin is 30x minus x squared. Yan yung area. Okay. Gagawin nating positive si x squared. So, pag ginawa nating positive sa x squared, ilalabas ko yung negative sign dito. At kapag nilabas ko yung negative sign, yung 30x na positive kanina ay magiging positive. Ay magiging negative. Next, saan ko na ko yung 225 plus 225? I-divide mo si 30 ng dalawa. What is 30 divided by 2? It's 15. Okay? Then after mo i-divide ng 2 si 30, okay, whatever is the numerical coefficient of the x, you have to divide it by 2 and then you square it. What is the square of 15? 225. Okay? Then put the parenthesis, inside that you add that 225 and then outside you add another 225. Okay? Next. So, I have now completed the square. Kasi ang sabi mo, x negative 30 divided by 2 is 15. Ayan na siya. Then, negative value ang nandito. So, kung negative value ang nandito, yung parabola mo opens downward. Okay, yan. It opens downward. At yung nasa tuktok na yan is this. Ano ba yan? 225. Yung nasa tuktok niya ay 225. Okay? So you want to see the real graph of this? I'll show you. This is actually the graph already. I don't have the GeoGebra for now. So ayan po yung graph natin. Yung tuktok na yon ay ito po, 225. Okay? So ibig sabihin, the maximum area is 225 square meters. So yan po yung maximum area. Since x is equal to 15, so ito po yung x, 15. Okay? Yan po yung width. And 30 minus x is equal to 15. Saan ko nakuha yung 30 minus x? 'Di ba? Kanina, ang sabi natin, y is equal to 30 minus x. Okay? Balik po tayo doon. Sabi natin kanina, y is equal to 30 minus x. Saan ko nakuha yung 15? Okay. Ito po yung 15. Alalahanin nyo po, kung ang maximum value ay 225, etong x po natin ay etong nandito. Okay? Next. So, paano ko nakuha yung 15 na length? Kasi 30 minus x is equivalent to y. So, ano yung value ng x? 15. What is 30 minus 15? It's also 15. So, ibig sabihin, yung width mo ay 15 and yung length mo ay 15. The dimensions that gives the maximum area is 15 meters by 15 meters. Okay? Next. Sketch the graph of the given piecewise function. So, ito na po yung sinasabi nating piecewise function. Okay? What is f of negative 4, and what is f of 2? Kapag sakasakaling piecewise function yan. Okay? So, sketch the graph of this. Kapag nag-sketch po tayo dito, okay, ang gagawin po natin, to the right of the y-axis, the graph is a line that has a slope of 1 and y-intercept of 2. So, eto po yun. Okay? Sabi kasi niya, if x is greater than 0, so ibig sabihin, positive lang siya. Dapat, doon mo lang siya ipapalit. So, ibig sabihin, hindi pwedeng maging negative value or negative number yung x dun sa first function. Puro lang siya positive. Okay? Pwede ba siya maging 0? Yes, kasi merong equal sign dito. Okay? So, pwede kong palitan yung x ng 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. So, 0, 2 is one of the points. Okay? And then, 1, magiging 3. So, 1, 3. So, ganun lang po. To the left of y-axis, the graph of the function is a parabola that opens downward and whose vertex is 0, 2. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, hindi ka pwedeng gumawa ng graph that is representing negative x squared plus 2. Okay? Na ang value ng x mo ay positive o kaya ay 0. Dapat siya lang ay negative lang. Okay? It can be negative 0.0009. Okay, but it cannot be 0. Okay? At nakita mo na, vertex niya ay 0, 2. Okay, bakit 0, 2? Kasi, kapag ginawa mo yung 0, okay, ang value ng y mo ay 2. Okay. To sketch the graph of the function, you can lightly draw both graphs, then darken the portion of the graph that represents the function. Okay, so pwede kong i-graph itong x plus 2, Tapos pwede ko rin i-graph yung negative x squared plus 2. Okay? Buo ko muna i-graph yung dalawa. Pero, buburahin ko rin yung mga excess parts. Para makita nyo po, ito po yung graph niya. Okay. So, ito lang po ang graph niya. Etong part na to, at saka etong part na to. Ito pong mga dotted lines na ito ay hindi na po kasama sa graph. Ang graph lang po natin ay ito po. Kulay red na may bilog. At itong kulay blue na talagang nakalinya. Okay, hindi po yung dotted lines. Yung mga dotted lines po na yan, yan po yung excess dun sa graph. Okay? So what you can do is to graph the whole thing also. After that, erase whatever is the excess. Okay? Kasi ang sabi niya, yung x plus 2, hindi daw pwedeng magkaroon ng excess dun sa negative values. Okay? At yung second graph mo, hindi naman pwede dun sa bandang kanan. Dito. So, eto buburahin mo, eto buburahin mo. Okay? Next. To find the value of the function when x is equal to negative 4, use the second equation. So, bakit kailangan yung second equation? Kasi you see, di ba yung first equation dapat positive lang? Yung second equation dapat negative lang. So, since x is equal to negative 4, okay, then dapat dun ka sa second equation mag-substitute. Okay? Then, you will get negative 14. Next. To find the value of the function when x is equal to 2, use the first function or first equation. Why? Because it's a positive. Alalahanin mo yung restriction nung una natin. Okay? Balik tayo doon para makita nyo. Restriction ng una ay positive lang. Yung restriction ng pangalawa ay negative lang. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, since x is equal to 2, okay, yung unang equation ang gagamitin mo. So, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Ayan. Okay? Thank you for watching. Those of you who are following me, please do not forget to like and share. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and click the bell button. Thank you very much and God bless us all.